Hello and welcome. I am so happy you're here. Whether you are here live or whether you are watching the replay, this is a really it's a significant moment in time in the evolution of my business online. Welcome to my boutique. I want you to imagine that you are walking down a street in a neighborhood. I don't know about you, but I love walking new neighborhoods. I love traveling. And when I get to and I had such a hard time with my husband when we first got together. We went to Paris. And I didn't know I was going to tell you this story, but very briefly, we went to Paris. We had barely just begun dating, and he whisks me off to Paris, and we get into this lovely little boutique hotel, kind of like what I am going to be describing to you today, my boutique business. And we get into the hotel and we have we put our stuff away. It's a boutique, a little, so cute. And he says, and I say, I don't remember who said, let's go for a walk. And I thought, oh, wonderful. We'll walk our little area and I'll just get sort of oriented to where I am in the world of Paris. We'll just kind of walk the block, look in the little shops. It'll be so lovely. We'll have a little meandering, a little, browsing. And so we start our walk, and he's been to Paris before, and we start walking and walking and walking. And suddenly we're at the Eiffel Tower, which wasn't close to where we were, and walking. And suddenly we're at Notre Dame, and I'm getting tired. I'm getting really, really tired. And he's wanting to walk and walk and walk. And I realize like our idea of going for a walk when you first arrive in a new city is not the same. And it turns into our first big problem because I begin to fall apart. So what I love to do is to go into the neighborhood and look in the little shops and have a browse and have an exploration. So I want you to imagine that you are walking down the street in a new neighborhood. So cute. You see shops all over the place. It's just like one of those lovely places that you just think like each shop is sort of a mystery and there's some magic there. And you're walking and you see an archway and there's like a gate that's open, and it feels very welcoming but a little bit mysterious, like you're not quite sure what you're going to find. You're not quite sure if you want to go in. There's sort of ivy on the walls surrounding, and you can tell that it's a shop and you can tell that it's open, and you kind of peek your head in. And what you see when you first peek your head in is this garden. And it's so pretty. There's flowers and there's greenery and there's, some kind of artistic touches here and there, a statue. And there's a fountain. And the fountain is not so big, but it's a nice size for a garden. And there are benches and there are people there on the benches. Like in one area there's two people chatting on a bench looking at the fountain and but having a chat, and you can tell they're deep in conversation. And in another area there's somebody like lying on the grass reading a book, and you think, gosh, what a welcoming place. This is a shop. Like what is this? I'm really curious. You walk a little bit in and you decide, okay, some of the people on the two people on the bench, they look up and they smile at you, and then they go back to their conversation. Like you feel this sense of welcome into this space without feeling any pressure. Like it doesn't feel like that space where people are looking at you like thinking you need to do something. You're just like, oh, this is a welcoming space. And so you walk in and you're like, where am I? This is sort of interesting. And you keep going and you see the opening to the shop itself. It's another big archway, and you're looking and it's like outside there's all this greenery, but inside it's like warm, like there's brickwork, and it just has this sort of earthy feeling. Like the colors you're seeing are rust and dark browns and a little bit of black, and there's pops of red and burgundy and maroon, and you're like, this is pretty. And there's an archway, and the light inside is very welcoming. Like there's There are definitely large windows, but there's also lamps. Like, have you ever seen those stained glass lamps, like the stained glass Tiffany's lamps? They're sitting on tables as you kind of now you're peeking your way into the store itself. You're like, do I want to go in here? I'm not sure. But again, you get this sense of welcome. You get this sense of coziness, of ease, of a laid back kind of energy that is so artistic and beautiful at the same time. And you walk in, hello, dear Helena. And you walk in and you look around and you think, I don't quite know where I am, but this is really pretty. This is a cozy place. And you look and you see that there are couches, like there are cozy couches in the store. You can tell that it's a boutique, and you can tell that there's stuff for you to buy or stuff for you to browse. And you like it. Like I like it. I love a boutique where you walk in and you feel welcomed, and you feel like you can look around, and you feel for sure like you can touch things if you want to. Like you pick something up and you look at it and you're like, do I want this? Do I not? You put it back and you look somewhere else and you're like, ooh, that's pretty. I don't think I want that though. And then you keep walking and you're like, oh, that's really lovely. Ooh, what is that? I might come back for that one. And it's like that sort of store, that boutique where you can walk in, and it's not at all snobby like in Pretty Woman, in Beverly Hills. It doesn't have any of that snob factor at all. It just feels like very, very welcoming. And when you look at the walls, you can tell that some kind of artist is responsible because it's like there's colors. Like you see lots of colors. It's not just plain white, it's not beige. And while it feels professional, there are just these touches of artistry and touches of magic and touches of little sparkles. There are paintings, there are prints. Some of them look like artists you've never heard of, but there's something about it that calls you in. And then others, it's like that's a print of a really famous painting that you think, oh, I love that painting. What is that doing here? And it's not an original, it's a beautiful, well displayed print. But then there are these original artworks on the walls too. And you're thinking, my goodness, that is so beautiful, and I like it here. I feel comfortable here. And then you see that there are people on the couches chatting together. And they look like they're deep in conversation. And if you catch their eye, they smile, but they go back to what they're doing. They're deeply contemplating. And then in another area, you see somebody sitting in a chair reading, and in another area, there's somebody that's just sort of sitting in a sort of meditation. And it's like, what are all these people doing in here? This is really interesting. And then you see that there are free samples, because I love free samples. And you also see that there are departments, that it looks like there are four very clear departments in this store. And one department looks like it has to do with sales and marketing. Like, what does that have to do with this beautiful boutique? There's a sales and marketing department? How interesting. But then you go a little closer and you notice that what are they selling? They're selling music. They're selling music, and they're selling how to build a brand online as an artist. And you think, oh, well, that's very interesting. There's a whole department here that, and then you realize it's an educational department. It's an educational department on sales and marketing. And you think, what, wow, what, this is like this sort of bohemian sort of vibe boutique with all of this art on the walls, and there's an education department for artists to learn about sales and marketing. My goodness, what was that free sample? And you go back to the free sample table, which is close to the front, and you think, what, pie in the sky? What the heck is pie in the sky about? And the person behind, in that department who's helping to orient you, in this case, it's me. And I say, oh, pie in the sky, would you like a piece? Would you like a piece of pie? And you say, I, I don't know. What, like, what is it? And you say, oh, I know that is kind of a strange title, but pie in the sky. Oh my gosh, can I tell you a story? Pie in the Sky is something that I created, and I want to gift it to any artist who wants it because I believe so firmly in art and artists. I want artists to be paid. I want artists to make lots and lots and lots of money. I want artists to be on the kinds of stages and have the kinds of collaborations that they really desire for themselves. And I know that so many artists are walking in the world feeling less than. I know so many artists are walking around the world feeling like they have to be in the consensus reality and that they can't have what might appear to others as the pie in the sky that is what they really wanted. And you think, okay, well, yeah, but why did you name it pie in the sky? And then I say, okay, listen, I was talking on the internet because that's something I do. And if you go to the sales and marketing department, you'll see how I teach about it. I was on the internet and I was talking about artists and their dreams. And I was talking about how I believe that you can make lots of money on the internet. And I was talking about how I've made $200,000 through my online courses on the internet. And I was talking about how one of my clients had a gig that paid $10,000 for her and her band. And I received a message from somebody in my inbox saying, I need to disconnect from you because your content is too far on the other side of pie in the sky. And I thought, oh my gosh, there are a lot of people out in the world who don't believe that pie in the sky is possible for artists. And I need to change that. And so I created this free program for you. It's a 3-day free event where I talk to you about how to believe in what it is that you want, because that is the first step. I actually teach a sequence of believing, knowing, and claiming, because it's not enough to believe it and it's not enough to know it. You actually have to claim it. And this particular artist was unwilling to believe that that was possible to do the claiming, so much so that he needed to detach from my content because it was too triggering. And I thought, well, my programs aren't for you, but thank you for giving me this wonderful content idea because that's how I roll. And so I created Pie in the Sky as a free sample for anyone, any artist who feels drawn to the way in which I show up online, the way in which I talk to you right now, the way in which this entire visualization that I'm walking you through, this online tour of my boutique is a sales presentation. But this is how I sell with no pressure, with no urgency, with just a welcoming invitation into my store. And so I created Pie in the Sky for anyone who wants a free sample. And so if you have not yet sampled Pie in the Sky, I will provide a link for you after our time together today. So you've gone back to Pie in the Sky and to the free sample and you think, well, that sounded really interesting. I would like a piece of that pie, but I think I'll wander the store a little bit more before I make any decision because like even free samples, sometimes they give me indigestion and I need to be careful. And so you go around the store and you think you'll go back to the sales and marketing department, but what is this up at the front? Because the sales and marketing department, that was a little bit over on the left in the back, but right up front, you notice what is currently on sale because that's the way the boutique is arranged. There are these 4 different departments and there are some back rooms, but right up front, there's what's in season. And what is in season is not clothing, it's branding. It's branding for artists. And you see that there is a combination of programs all about branding for online artistpreneurs. Now, one of those programs is about trusting and hearing and strengthening your ability to trust your intuition. It is the call, it's the vocation, it's the ownership, it's the taking on, putting on the robe of putting on the dress, putting on the connection to your own truest call in this lifetime, because anybody who has gotten this far with me on live now or watching the replay has a call to art and to music, to acting, to dance. You have some call, you have some vocation to the arts. I mean, of course you do, or you wouldn't be interested in this very artistic presentation of things that are on sale, right? And so you have an artistic soul, you have an artistic bent, and you are called to your art. But there's a part of you, like that particular artist, who didn't want to. He literally said that I needed to have more another foot in consensus reality. And I say I need to have no feet in consensus reality, because my programs aren't for people who want to be part of the consensus reality. My programs are for the people who want to absolutely change the paradigm by stepping first into your own call. So the first program of the branding bundle and branding season is actually the call, because the call is where you start down that road towards your mission. Now, you may already have a mission. You may already be very clear about your mission. But whether you are or not, the question is that mission very clearly articulated in your online presence? Are you able to express your mission through your branding online? So that mission driven is all about identity work. It's all about the identity piece of your branding and making your brand actually a full-on manifestation of who you are meant to be in this world. And that's the second program that is in season right now. And then the third program that's part of this brand bundle, this education for artists around personal brand and how to really build something magnetic online, is the Icon program. And I was really sitting in this recently about how my work is about helping artists to become artistpreneurs. But we don't just stop at artistpreneur. We go from artistpreneur to icon. And it's a fascinating trajectory, because it is similar to the sequence of believing, knowing, and claiming. Because really, when you think about it, do people become icons because they are discovered? Or do people become icons because they know that they have something within them that needs to be expressed and shared in the world? Is it the chicken or the egg? And I think in this case, it's clear. It's not about somebody else anointing you. It's about you first deciding for yourself that yes, you have purpose and mission as an artist in this lifetime, whether this is as and through your teaching or your coaching, your wisdom sharing, your multi-passions, or your actual art that you do. And so that is what is currently in season in my Profitable Performer Revolution boutique. It's the branding season. But branding is not the only part of what is required to become a fully financially free and time free and satisfied and successful artist. We need the sales and marketing. And so we have the sales and marketing department. And in the sales and marketing department, we have things like Selling with Soul, where you learn how to show up online and sell in a way that feels so aligned with who you are as an artist and human being. Because I've got to tell you that I have taken a lot of sales programs, a lot of marketing programs, and a lot of them do not speak to the soul of an artist. They want you to do things that just don't feel in alignment, like cold DMing, like running ads when you can't afford them. I mean, goodness, I was in a webinar, a program that taught me how to create a very high level webinar. And there were so many things about that that just didn't fit, like putting on urgent countdown timers when there actually wasn't a real deadline. But now I can spot those things whenever I come across them online and somebody says, buy this and it's so urgent, buy it now, or the price is changing and all the rest. I'm like, calm down, Fiona. Don't don't fall prey to the kind of marketing that people have tried to teach you that you have to do. You literally don't. And so there are so many things about marketing and sales that are taught to us as like this is the only way, because that's a traditional way of doing, but it's not the only way, and it's not the way that you have to do it. And as you're experiencing right now, I've never done anything like this before. And as far as I know, no one else has. I don't know. I've never experienced somebody walking me through their store the way that I'm walking you through it right now with no pressure whatsoever to buy anything. I want you to browse. I want you to see what I have. And part of that is because I realized that the way that I had been selling and marketing, there was so much that was sort of hidden because my store is very mysterious. Like it has all these rooms and these things where you have to come in and maybe ask or say, well, but is there a bundle of this or is there a bundle of that or this is where I'm at? And so there's a room in the store for conversation. There's a room in the store where you can share, this is what I'm working on. This is what my particular things are that are challenge for me right now. Where in your store should I be orienting myself? Like, which are the things that I should be looking at? So we've covered the branding. Branding is in season. Those are the next programs. We just completed the call. We're about to start mission driven next week, and then the icon program will follow that. But we also have programs that are coming in the sales and marketing department, as well as passive programs in the sales and marketing department. In the sales and marketing department, I have a program called Content Explosion, which is all about how to create more content in less time because we have this feeling like we need to be creating content for social media, but sometimes it's like, it just takes me too long. But the reality is that you can turn one piece of content into so many other pieces of content when you know what I teach inside of Content Explosion. It's one of the reasons why you see me being so prolific online during the seasons where I am prolific online. Like right now, my mom is in the hospital again, and it's a bit much to be everywhere all at once, and I don't have to be. It's about the give and take, which leads me to another department. Now, this department is the personal power and creative freedom and self-expression department because it requires a significant amount of emotional intelligence and personal power to realize that, for example, when your mom is in the hospital, you are not failing because you're choosing to be less online. It's okay. When you are going through a spiritual deepening, like I actually am going through right now in real time, it's okay to be a little bit less online. So whether you experience me right now as being a little bit less online or you experience me as still being quite present online, I lean into my everything I teach inside of Content Explosion. Anytime I want to pull back but still have something going, or I'm fully loaded up and have so much energy for selling and for marketing and for sharing and for educating and sharing my wisdom, I lean into Content Explosion then too, and then I'm like everywhere all at once. But in both cases, I can use that Content Explosion program. That's in the passive offers within my within the sales and marketing department. So the personal power department. Now, this is where my heart starts to sing because honestly, at the root of all of this, at the root of every single one of my programs, is a desire to help you remember who you are, to help you step into your personal power, to help you claim your greatness. And there's in this section, there's a short passive program called Claim Your Greatness. There's also a program called Master Your Mindset in this program, in this area. There's a pro I should look at exactly what's in what department because sometimes the departments overlap and I've got programs that sort of go into multiple zones. Master Your Mindset is in personal power and self-expression, but it's also in mindset and manifestation, the mindset and manifestation department. In the personal power and self-expression department are more things like unleashed online, where you step into like, what is it like to be fully unleashed online? What is it like for me right now to deliver this for you? And I'm seriously thinking about putting this just up on YouTube and just saying, welcome to my store. Have a look around. This is unleashed. Like, who does this? Do you know? Like I said, I've never seen anything like this. This is absolutely unleashed. What is being unleashed like for you? Which is another thing when I think back about that experience doing the webinar funnel. They kept telling me to trust the process, get results. And I'm a very good student. And so I did. I was like, okay, I want to do a live webinar. And they say, no, trust the process and get results. And I think, oh, okay. But I'm a performer and I like to go live. I mean, I like I feel this call. I also trust my intuition. I'm very intuitive. I want to go live. And they say, no, 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 no. Trust the process, get results. You need to have a whole bunch of slides and you need to pre-record it. You don't even need to have your face on camera. You can just, speak it, and that's good enough. I'm like, oh, okay. But meanwhile, my intuition is like screaming and my sort of soul fire is dimming. That's trusting somebody else's process. That's never what I'm going to teach you in any of my programs, which is one of the things that makes me quite extraordinary as a coach, whether we work together one to one or you are in my programs. The message is always, what do you want to do? Here are some ideas. Here are some proven strategies, but which of these strategies actually resonate with you? Which of these strategies actually speak to your soul? Which of these strategies feel fun, exciting, liberating, free? And in Unleashed Online, I'm saying this is how to create content that becomes more magnetic to people. And does it resonate with you? What feels alive for you? What feels exciting for you? I'm never going to say, you've got to do it my way or else. I'm always going to say, let's find your way. And so I often provide many examples and of different ways of doing something like social media specific kind of content, not just ever the way that I tend to do it. And so I see Unleashed Online. Notice I don't so much have a social media department. It's more like I teach social media through the lens of personal power and self-expression, and that's that department. I also teach social media through sales and marketing, and that would be a program like Content Mastery, where I'm really teaching you, okay, this is how you sell on the internet. These are ways in which to create different kinds of posts that are more likely to bring in new students or new fans to buy your music or buy tickets. I see social media not so much as like, this is how you do social media. I see social media as what is it that you want to do on social media? And then let's go from there. In the personal power and self-expression department is also a program called Journey to 100K and the Climb, two programs that are all about my own journey from zero social media experience, $0 from social media to $100,000 and then $200,000 from purely my online business. And the reason that I put those in the personal power and self-expression department, even though there's all overlap into sales and marketing, is that in order to do that, in order to make that first $100,000, it was so much less about what exactly are the strategies, although I learned all these strategies to do it. It was really fundamentally about who was it that I had to become to keep going when it got difficult. And even now, to keep going when it gets difficult, which brings me back to the mission driven program, which is where we are right now in terms of branding season. I wouldn't keep going if it was when it got difficult. I wouldn't keep going, except that my mission is so much bigger than the challenges. The mission itself that I've chosen to take on as artist and human being is big. And that mission is to help my fellow artists to grow in personal power and money. And that feels really important to me. One of the reasons that we have trouble selling on the internet, making sales on the internet, bringing people in is because it's too small. We're thinking just in terms of your own lifestyle, or like, I need to make money. I need to do this for me. Yes, I care about students. Yes, I care about my music, but I'm stuck in this loop of like, I'm not getting the feedback. I'm not getting validation. People aren't liking my posts. New students aren't coming. What do I do? I might as well give up. And so a lot of people do give up. My what I have done, what I have chosen to do, and what I lead in and what I embody is the decision that ultimately the mission to help, the mission to serve the world is bigger than my discomfort at whether or not somebody likes a post. The beginning of today's um, beautiful tour of my boutique was quite awkward, as Maria will affirm, because there was nobody here. I was having trouble getting it to look get. I was having trouble with my view, which I've never had before. Going back and forth, trying to put it on spotlight so you could just see me, and it's just Maria who's like, what is this? Now, I trust in perfect timing, and I trust that everything is exactly like when things happen, they happen not to you, but for you. And this is something that we cover in the fourth department, which I haven't gotten to yet, which is the mindset and manifestation department. So, in the mindset and manifestation department, we turn everything on its head in terms of blame. We take our power back, which again overlap into personal power. We take our power back from the idea that things are happening to us and to blame other people and that we have no agency or personal responsibility. We just take our power back, and suddenly we're flooded with energy. Now, I believe that everything is happening for me and not to me, and that everything happens in perfect timing. And so at the beginning of this tour of my boutique, I had planned on starting so professionally and opening with the tour of the outside and the walking the neighborhood and coming in and seeing the beautiful fountain and experiencing the ambiance. But instead, I had all this awkward tech and one person here witnessing it. And I thought, well, this is very interesting. Maria and I had actually had a conversation one to one a time back. And I thought, let's just start by having a little conversation. And that was such a beautiful way to start and brought my energy right into the center of who I am as artist and coach, instead of out in the world of like, oh my God, this is really not perfect and everything is falling apart. I'm like, oh, tell me, let's catch up. Tell me how you're doing. Let's have a moment of connection. That felt really, really good. This is an example of being in my personal power, which is the personal power department, and also knowing the laws of the universe and trusting in divine timing. And that's the mindset and manifestation department. So, are you seeing now how, when you are in my boutique, my beautiful online boutique, it's not about three ways to get more students. It's not about, the perfect funnel or how to run ads that get results or how to get anybody to do anything. Like that's not what I'm here for. So I wanted to describe to you my uh, ideal customer, the people, as I shared earlier, the people in this store, like they were having their own conversations, right, on the bench or in the couch, like they're communicating with each other and they're deep in reflection, self-reflection, and they're really self-led people. They're people of great self-responsibility, and they're great artists. They're people who have invested in their art. They're people who have invested in learning how to be the fullest expression of their artist self that they can be at this point in their lives. They're not people who are like, I'm not good enough. I'm not why doesn't anybody ever love me? Although they have that too, because we all do. We're all human. But they're not saying I need to be fixed. And they're not saying like they're not fooled by these get rich quick things on the internet or buy this ad right away. And they're turned off by that sense of like, if you don't buy in the next 5 minutes, then you lose these bonuses. And if the price goes up to, $2,000 tomorrow, if you don't buy right this second. Now, sometimes I will have urgency or FOMO as part of my marketing, but not because I'm trying to get you to do something like in that webinar funnel. It's more because it's the truth of what's happening. Like the branding season is right now. Some of those brand programs are on pre-sale because I love sales. And this is again, this is part of what it is that I do in what it is that I embody and what it is that I teach in my marketing and sales programs is that we want also to sell and market in the way in which we enjoy buying. And so I do not enjoy buying when there's a lot of pressure. In fact, I will turn on, like the second there's a lot of pressure, I hang up, like, like an online marketer or something. I remember a little while ago, maybe last year, I was at my mom's house and I had my car, it has some problems. There's like a fender thing was kind of off, like a little bit off. And this man approached me and like, this is just a neighborhood. And he approaches me and he says, I was here fixing somebody else's car. I have a mobile car fixing unit and I can fix your fender right there for $200. And I was like, oh, that sounds good. Really, I want you to understand that this was not a trafficked area. Like this literally was uh, like a suburban neighborhood. And it was so it was a very strange sort of thing to have happened. And I was like, oh, well, that sounds great. And he's like, I can do it for you right now. And I was like, ooh, I'm not sure I want to do it right now. I'm right in the middle of this and this, and I don't want to make a quick decision like that. In human design, I'm an emotional authority, which means that first I do get a sacral uh-huh or uh-uh, but then I get a moment to ride my emotion around something before I make an aligned decision. I need a moment to make an aligned decision. Some people are much faster, some people need even more time. In this moment, he then got like pushy. And I was like, oh, okay, no, thank you. It was like the second I absolutely would have done it because it was a great deal, $200 to fix this thing. And I did believe that he could do it better than the tape that I had taping my car and just not wanting to invest thousands of dollars in doing the whole thing right then. I would have done it, but he lost me the second that he tried to push me. And so as a buyer, I actually love a sale, but I love a sale that has no pressure attached to it. And so right now it's branding season and there's the mission driven program is on sale and icon is on sale and there's a brand bundle that's on sale. And then when mission driven starts next week, the price will go up because that's just, fine. The price is going to go to the full price because as a buyer, I love the opportunity to commit and buy early and get a discount. And then I understand that, the price is the price. And so I have both options. And this is selling again in alignment with who I am as artist, human being, and also as buyer. So I very much encourage you to sell in a way that feels very much in integrity with how you enjoy to buy. These are the kinds of things that we'll be talking about in detail inside of Selling with Soul when we get to Selling with Soul. So now you've had a good walk around the boutique itself. You understand that there's 4 departments. There's the branding and identity department, there's the mindset and manifestation department, there's the sales and marketing department, and there's the personal power and self-expression department. I am not a spring chicken. I am 53 years old. I have a lot of wisdom to share, and I am not willing to just do one program, which is what I tried to do in the very beginning with I had my signature program, the Profitable Performer Revolution. And what I found happened during that program, and welcome, my dear Tara, is that I poured everything I possibly knew into this one program. It got so huge. It was like over 100 trainings in this, and some of them were long in this one program. It took over a year for any person to actually make it all the way through the program. And anytime I learned something new, I wanted to give it. I wanted to give it to the artists. And I'm constantly learning because in my human design, that's also part of my type. It's like I'm always going to be learning and growing and evolving and sharing my wisdom because that's what I'm meant to do. And so I realized that this format, which again was like the traditional method that I was first exposed to of like a signature course, you learn how to market that one signature course, and that's so easy because you're just talking about the same thing. Well, it didn't feel easy to me. It felt really boring eventually and overwhelming to the people that were purchasing it. And so as I evolved from that Profitable Performer Revolution program, I realized that what I wanted to do was give artists the opportunity to come into the department that makes the most sense for them. And so I am expert in all of these different areas that have to do with becoming a financially free and totally empowered artistpreneur. So we have four departments right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if we grow in our departments. And each department has three or more programs within it, and there's overlap between those. And so you can think to yourself, yeah, right now I just want to dive in. And so branding season is happening right now, and I'm going to jump into branding season. I'm going to work on my identity. I'm going to work on my mission. I'm going to work on the aesthetics of my brand. I'm going to work on making my online presence far more magnetic and charismatic. And so I'll just start there, and that would be beautiful. But you might decide, what I really need is help with my mindset, or what I really need is help with the sales and marketing, or what I really need is help with my personal power. And so I'll either wait for one of those programs, or Fiona, tell me about all the passive programs, because I'm not going to tell you about every single program right now. We've got the back rooms. In one of those rooms, we just have a conversation where you DM me and we say, hey, this is where I'm at. Can you tell me what would be the right place for me to step in? And I say, yes, let's talk about it with no pressure to buy anything. You're still browsing. We're just having a conversation in my boutique, in one of the side rooms, in one of the alcoves, in one of the little areas for a tete-a-tete with a beautiful stained glass lamp with mood lighting, and we just get to cozy up together and have a conversation. So that's always available. But what is also available is the all access pass. And that's for the person who's like walked around the store and been like, okay, I don't even want the free sample, or maybe I've already had the free sample. I want more than the free sample. Like that just gave me the taste of what is coming. I want it all. Is there a way to get it all? And I say, yes, there is a way to get it all. And that is the Unshakable program. And the Unshakable program is the VIP pass. You just get everything. And you get entry into the first back room with the Unshakable All Access Pass. And that first back room, it's very big and it's very cozy at the same time. There's a huge round table, and it reminds me of King Arthur. I don't know if you are familiar with King Arthur and his round table, but it was like he wanted to create a space because at this time in the legend, it's like all the knights were fighting each other, and some knights were good and like doing good deeds, but others were like pillaging and raping and stealing. And he wanted a place where, and it was very feudal. It was like all these different people that all thought they got to be the king. He was like, he wanted to create a round table where artists, no, I'm bringing the artists together, where knights would come together, and there wouldn't be a head of the table. Even him as king, he wasn't going to be the head of the table. He was going to be one of the people sitting around the table. And all of the people would be able to communicate, and all of the people would be able to be equal. And if you think of one of those tables where you're at a restaurant and it's not that loud, and it's one of those nights at a restaurant together or a family meal where there are quite a few people at the table and yet everyone can hear everyone else, and there starts to be this conversation that happens where everyone is moving together in the conversation. And at the end of the night, you're like, my goodness, that was satisfying. That was one of the most satisfying experiences I've had of being together in community. This is what this first back room is all about, this unshakable room. And it's not the unshakable table where artists come together in community, where there is no competition, where it's all about sacred witness, like bearing sacred witness for each other, and just lifting each other up and helping each other creatively, strategically, collaboratively. As part of Unshakable, you get all the programs. So you get every single live group program. And right now, the way that the live group programs are run, and you also get a number of the passive programs. Right now, the way that the live group programs are run, there's a lot of time for coaching and there's a lot of time for connection and there's a lot of time for integration and implementation. And so, what I have discovered as people come together on my in my live group programs is that real bonds become, born. Collaborations are born. People hire each other. Like one person who's a really, really good singer hires another one who's a really, really good songwriter, for example. They create this community together as we're all learning about each other going through these programs. We go deep in the programs. This is something I kind of meant to mention earlier, but hopefully it's already been coming across. I'm really not here to just teach you sales and marketing. I'm really not here to just help you grow in confidence. I'm here to do the deepest work with you, the work of becoming. It's not just becoming the artistpreneur who can make money. It's becoming the most self-actualized version of yourself that exists or could exist in the world. It's like that thing that you know that you could become if you actually claimed all of who you really are. And for me, yes, we do this through the lens of sales and marketing and money and brand building, but all of that challenges you to come more to the full center of who you really are. And that who you really are is about claiming your greatness because every single human, and for me specifically, every single artist, like you are an extraordinary person. So when I think about my ideal buyer, my ideal customer, my ideal client, the people who are hanging out in in my boutique, and especially the people who make it to the back rooms, there are 3 back rooms at the moment. The people that make it into the back rooms are the ones who feel such a deep affinity to the way that I'm now speaking. It's like, you're here, you're called, that you're here to do big things, that your work matters, that really you do have a mission, whether it's well defined or it's not. That your soul is calling you towards more than doom scrolling, watching Netflix, or even the performing, because we can be called to perform, but it's still so connected to ego. It's still connected to proving ourselves. It's still connected to seeking validation. And what I'm here to support for the artists who want to join me in these back rooms goes so much more beyond like, let me get more students or let me, book good paying things, gigs and get more opportunities. It's like, let me stand in the center of my frickin' power and be as masterful in this lifetime as I was born to be. Let me stand here and be the fire. Let me stand here in all of my glory. Let me stand here in all of my nakedness and vulnerability. I am here to do great things, and I know it. And I just want a community and I want support in that process, because whether you choose me, for those people who make it into the back rooms, it's like you would have made it no matter what, whether you come into my back room or someone else's, whether you do it all by yourself or not. You're here to do really big things, and I know it, and I witness you in that. And so these are the kinds of people who want to join us in the back rooms. So the first one is this beautiful round table. There's food. It's the place. Yes, we're at a table, but if you want to take your shoes off, you can take your shoes off. There are also cozy couches in the corners where you can break out and have tete-a-tetes. And it's just a really, really nurturing place for artists. Now, the next room, it's like, so you've gone through the boutique and you've come to the back and you've opened this door and you've entered this oasis with the big round table and the couches in the corners. Then you make your way through that room and you open the next door. This is a smaller room, and I see it as like an intimate family room. And this is the room for the hero's journey. This is my mastermind. It's a smaller group that, oh my gosh, this is takes that unshakable and it just like it both shrinks it and blows it up at the same time, because this is what happens when people come together in like a very tight community where you really witness yourself. Just today, there's something deep going on with one of the people in the group, and everybody there just piled on the love, the support. Like, we're all here for you. Let's talk this out, even though it was a very vulnerable thing that was being shared. That in I mean, I could imagine someone who didn't have this hero's journey mastermind being confronted with what this person was confronted with and just retreating inward in such a soul dimming way, playing small, but instead in such a very short period of time, with all of the love and the support piled on, as well as the strategy, as well as networking resources. This person, like the tone of voice at the beginning and just the end of like just this morning was really changed. And there's going to be more time needed as they move through this thing. But I felt so touched and moved, grateful that this was a space that I had created for this person to have in that particular moment. It's a really beautiful space. Now, on top of that kind of support, it's where we get, nitty gritty into what do you need specifically for your marketing? What kind of fun campaign do you want to run for your launch? How do you want to get the butts in the seats at your next concert? Ooh, you got hit with, a slow month, like let's talk it out and let's rebuild your confidence. It's both personal and expansive in terms of business. In the unshakable room, it's all about group program, and everything is contained in all of the different programs you're in. In the Hero's Journey Mastermind, on top of all of the group programs, you also get the conversation and coaching in real time, like we did this morning from me, very specific, targeted coaching, and also community support in real time through our chat. And then in the last private room, this is like, I was thinking of kind of Bridgerton or Jane Austen, like the very, very, very private sitting room. It's like, this is where the family, like, here's the ballroom where everybody comes, and then here's the dining room where just the invited dinner guests come, and then here's the receiving room where the, guests who make it to that point. But then this is like the private sitting room. And that's where I do my one-to-one coaching. And so if you're interested in the one-to-one coaching, it's like the most privatest room, and you get all of the rest of it as well. So I wanted to give you a sense of pricing of all of these different things, because this is an area that really matters to me. It's so important to me that I create accessible programs and support for artists. And so you can, of course, stick with the free samples, which I have all the time on my YouTube channel, in my free Facebook group, in the Pie in the Sky masterclass. So the free sample is always available. And you can always reach out to me. I am not the sort of person who shuts down my DMs because I'm that way. I'm not. Like, you can reach out to me in DMs and say, this is where I'm at in my business. I'm not sure I'm at a place where I can invest. What of your free stuff would be appropriate? Because I've now got like 5 years of free stuff, including long form YouTube videos. So that is always an option to everyone. So I always want this to be accessible to all budgets, from no money to $18,000, $20,000, and everything in between. And so that's where you start if there's no budget, but you want to start, because whether you have a budget or not, I see you in your greatness, and I'm creating content that will help you to become the fullness of who you're meant to be as an artist in this lifetime. So you can start there. Now, the programs themselves range in price from typically like 111 for some of the master classes that maybe were free and then became paid afterwards, like they were a short-term master class, or maybe a master class that just started as a paid masterclass, that's like around 111. 222 are programs that I'm like, I just really want everybody to have this. Like Master Your Mindset right now is still at 222. I just want artists to have this and make it accessible. Now, the live programs where we have quite a lot of integration. So, for example, the Mission Driven program that is coming, the full price of Mission Driven, it's 6 weeks of small group coaching. It's quite a lot of support. And that full price is $1,111 for the full program, full price. The pre-sale price is $777. The icon program is the same thing. It's going to be a lot of implementation, a lot of me actually looking at your brand, looking at the visuals, giving you direct feedback, sharing it in the group, real hands-on. That's similar. 1,111, pre-sale 777. Now there's the brand bundle. And for those of you who watch this call in real time, if you're watching this and I did decide to put it on YouTube, your job is to just message me, right? Because the boutique is always open. You can message, you can say what's on sale at this time. The 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 brand bundle for like the full price of the brand bundle is like, or right now, I think the pre-sale price of the brand bundle is like 1333, and the pre-sale of the is like full price, I think is like maybe 1555. You get the call, you get the mission driven, and you get icon. But just for those of you who are here live, you get the not just for you for here live, but for this period of time, because I don't want to put a whole bunch of pressure on it. The brand bundle, I'm making just 1,111, and that includes the call, it includes mission driven, and it includes icon. And so that would be a wonderful way of jumping in. But the other thing that I'm really, really committed, again, as I said, is accessibility. And so for the time being, and I don't know how much longer this is going to be the case, but for the time being, Unshakable, which is the all access pass to absolutely everything, is $333 a month. And as far as I'm concerned, that is a freaking awesome, amazing, good deal. It is where you get everything for $333 a month, which in Los Angeles is less than you would be paying for a weekly music lesson, particularly like a singing lesson in Los Angeles for sure. And so I really wanted to make that completely accessible to everyone. And so you can join us in that first VIP room for $333 a month. Now, the mastermind, that is currently $777 a month, and one-to-one coaching is quite a bit higher. It is $3,333 a month, but there are packages within that. So you should never feel scared to ask me about doing one-to-one coaching, because there's like the full access pass for everything in terms of one-to-one coaching, but there's also like breakthrough calls, and there's also just messaging support. So if you're interested in any of the things that I talked about today, this really was not so much like, let me sell everything, although I wanted to share specifically about branding season and about Unshakable. It was really to introduce you to the boutique itself. It's like, what are the departments? What's the ambiance? What's the vibe? Who are the kinds of people that would want to be in this world? Who are the kinds of artists that would be drawn to my work? And what it is that I want to share with you. And so if you're interested in any of the departments, and I didn't get into the details of like, well, what's that mind-blowing manifestation magic program? Like, what is that? Or like, tell me more about Selling with Soul, or what are the passive programs that you have on sale right now? Or you mentioned Unleashed Online, and that like really excited me. If you want more details about any of the programs that are coming later this year, or the programs that are passive, or about working together one-to-one, or about the mastermind, just reach out to me in Messenger or DMs, and or reply to the email, and we can really talk about it. So that we find the place that is the exact right fit for you, for your goals, for your budget. again, without any pressure, because this is the kind of boutique where you can wander around and you can sit in the chair and you don't feel, and you can you can take a book off the shelf and you can sit in a chair and you can read. You're not expected to buy anything in the store. You can browse, you can enjoy yourself, you can make new friends just in the store itself, in the boutique. And then at the point when you're like, I'm just really loving it here. I like this. I like it here. And that's the point when you're like, yeah, I want to go deeper with you, Fiona. I want to be a more, deepened into this community. I like it. Tell me what is the right place for me. Here's what I'm working on. Here's my goals. Here's my budget. And then we'll find that perfect fit place for you right now. So, does anyone who's here live have any questions? Just drop them in the chat. I really am so Oh, and there's one more thing. I meant to share this in the free sample, but I have to announce the winner of the giveaway. I forgot all about that. So during Pie in the Sky, when I ran it live, I did a giveaway, and the winner of the giveaway is getting a full half day of chat support, voice and chat support. So that's one of the things that I do with clients is that we'll spend time on Voxer or WhatsApp just going back and forth. It's like a call, like if you had a 1 hour session with me, except it's a longer amount of time because it's like a half day where we just go back and forth and we're working on whatever is most pressing in your business, whether it's a mindset thing or an energetic thing or a strategy thing or a sales and marketing thing, whatever it is that you're needing. That was the prize of the giveaway for sharing about Pie in the Sky. And the winner is Egita. So congratulations, Egita. I wanted to announce it on the call. So I will let you know, Egita, because I know you're not here live. I will message you and we will set that up. So that's very exciting. Now, if there's any questions, drop them in the chat. And otherwise, this was just, again, in my human design, I'm someone who gets an idea and gets to try it. And I'm fearless in that way, which is so very fun. I get to show up in embodying that kind of fearless, let's go for it. The idea dropped and I'm going to do it. I'm going to share it. And so that was what happened here with this invitation to open the doors and give you a tour of my boutique. And even in the way in which I describe it and the way in which I think about it, it's really to let you know that this is a special place on the internet. It's a special boutique. It's not the kind of place that you would think of for learning about traditional marketing and sales, because that's not all we're doing here. We're covering it all and we go deep together. So if you have any questions that you'd like me to answer now, I give you one more chance in the chat. And if you have any personal questions, like you're thinking, yeah, I would like to explore this or that, then as I said, I'm just a message away. I will send out an email with links to what's currently in season, as well as Unshakable. And I think that really covers it. Thank you for coming to this tour. Thank you for bearing witness to this fun way of selling on the internet. And now, as always, I hope that I've made it so clear to you how much I believe in you and how much I know that you are here to do amazing things. I hope you feel the transparency in my heart around my full-bodied knowing that you as an artist are an extraordinary human being, that whatever that deepest calling is, your true vocation, it is meant to be shared with the world. I see it for you, and I know that you can make it happen. And now, as always, go out into the world and shine your light. You have a voice. You deserve to be heard, and the world deserves to hear you.